Hey, what's up, Lake Arbor Jazz fans? Of course, I am your man, Tony Richards. Man, I am so excited to be your host for this year's Lake Arbor Jazz Fest 2021, the Listening Room series presented by Lake Arbor Jazz. The Listening Room is a virtual cultural experience presented through a series of music, poetry, or spoken word events celebrating the rich history of communities of color. So to kick off the series, this episode of The Listening Room celebrates Jazz and Poetry Appreciation Month by featuring Mad Jazz Poetry, much like Lyric Cafe, Verses in Flow, and Def Poetry Jam. Mad Jazz Poetry features spoken word and musical performances by poets, jazz, and R&B artists. Mad Jazz Poetry focus is anchored in their love of music and their desire to address cultural, political, and social awareness issues. So this episode, it features 6 poets and 2 nationally acclaimed smooth jazz artists. So I hope you are ready to be edutained and also entertained, because that is exactly what they do. So without further ado, I present to you Mad Jazz Poetry. Music Miranda is a junior at Flowers High School. She has been writing since she was 12 years old, using metaphors and imagery to bring people together. So it's safe to say, music has lyrics. This is Music Miranda.
Man, oh man, how I could be as weightless as a spaceman, floating in space, exploring just beyond Earth's soil, being in a still moment in time where Earth is not my only home, fishing for stars, fishing for love, happiness, and experience. Every step would be a moment where I stop and think to myself, wow, am I really alive? I am a living, breathing human being experiencing something that only a few have experienced. Weightlessness. Man, oh man, how you could be as weightless as a spaceman stuck in a moment in time. Tell me, what are you afraid of? Imagine it. Loneliness, death, crowded spaces, the dark, pain, or unfulfilled potential. Now imagine you're holding on to that fear, scared. You're scared that if you let go, nothing would ever be the same. And you let it go as you float in space. Let it go. Let it go. There are no fears in space, only gratefulness, happiness, and love. And as you take your final steps, feel the weight drifting away from you. Be happy. Be happy that you are alive. You are free. You are gazing at the stars. And because you are weightless, you can reach the stars. And as you reach and reach and reach, you grab a star and you look at it and you take a moment and you are grateful. Man, oh man, how we are as weightless as a spaceman. beauty. There is beauty in the unseen. Our eyes, they may be the beholders of truth, but are not the beholders of the concealed. Our hands, they're the beholder of touch, but are not the beholders of air we cannot grasp. Our ears, they may be the beholders of sounds, but they are liars to when it comes to what we want to hear. Our nose is the beholder of smell, but can easily be clogged. And our tongue is the beholder of taste, but can easily be burnt. These senses that we have are not immortal, but mortal, and they can be destroyed. But let me tell you, what can't be destroyed is the unseen, the heart. How you feel when silence is the loudest thing in the room. There is beauty in the unseen. And what is unseen cannot be destroyed. And we call it Atlantis.
Tomi Ajiboye is a 22-year-old poet with a fiery spirit and a passion for people. She started writing when she first attended Expressions Camp in 2013 and has been using her pen ever since. Tomi believes words have the power to heal and break chains and vows to always utilize her voice no matter what. Here she is, Tomi Ajiboye.
We are black, beautiful, loving, and courageous, kicking everything that stands in our way in our faces. We are black, beautiful, loving, and courageous, kicking everything that stands in our way in our faces. We are black, being like a crack that you crave with a K. Understand that we are beautifully and wonderfully made, placed on this earth to be kings and queens, given power and dominion over all things. Because we are black, beautiful, loving, and curvaceous, kicking everything that stands in our way in our faces. We are black, beaten like animals, crucified kindlessly, mindlessly, tragically. We have been ripped apart as if their cruelty was some kind of art. Told us that we weren't smart, but feared the day that we would pick up the books, learn, and really start. They call us track runners, but the only thing that was racing was their heart. They fear us because black is beautiful, black is art. They made the noose our fashion statement, and we refuse to depart, refuse to back down, refuse to abort. This mission is our lives, and freedom we must take by force. I spy with my little eye. Somebody shaking in their boots, shaking in their thighs, afraid of the day that we will rise, step up to the plates and take control of our lives. They took control of our lives, told us how to live our lives. Bloody children, stripped mothers, they took control of our wives, planted seeds of deceit, ignorant of our cries, rightfully called the KKK because they kept killing our kids, kept puncturing our ribs. We weren't meant to be big, they were the big bad wolf, and we were the three little pigs. Kept cooking up ways to keep us as slaves. Our ancestors cried in agonizing pain, slit throats, their blood was drained. They fought hard for our gain, beaten black and blue, worked the cotton fields while bloody too, with the scars on their backs like hand-drawn tattoos, telling tales and stories of what they've been through. Paralyzed physically, but our hearts could still feel. Our determination is the reason why we were still able to heal. So understand this, understand this. Just because we are magic doesn't mean we aren't real. And just because we shine like stars doesn't mean we will burn out like one too. We are the exception to the exception, exceptionally unaccepted, unsuspected, unsuspecting. Like David, we slayed that Goliath with a sling. Like Joshua, the walls came tumbling down and now we sing. Like the Israelites, we were delivered from Egypt's king. Like Samson, we ripped the line apart as if it were nothing. And like Joseph, we were in slavery, but we became the ruler of the slaves. And today, we soar like we rest on eagle's wings. and it hurts them. Trust me, it stings. They're amazed at how we came out of adversity and shine like bling, tasting of the same freedom our ancestors would sing. Our past hasn't crippled us. Our strength has delivered us. Our resilience has kept us. Remember that we are not victims, we are survivors. History was his story. It's time we make our own story. Stop sitting in purgatory. Take over your territory. Our melanin is evidence of God's glory, which is why we can't be categorized as just black, because there are so many different shades. To show the diversity of his love is the reason why race was made. Harriet Tubman once said, I freed 1,000 slaves, and I could have freed 1,000 more if only they knew that they were slaves. See, freedom isn't free if it's only physically. So free yourself mentally. So lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring. Ring with the harmony of liberty, liberty, liberty. So fight, even though we are in this modern day captivity, because Christ brought about our delivery. We've done so and we will do so again. We may be bound now, but black lives will never remain shackled in chains. I bled for this. And I'm not talking about a minor cut that remains for just a few days, easily washed away by an expectant heart and the promise of tomorrow's sun rays. Nah, I mean I bled for this. That type of blood they say stains the fabric of our lives and can't be washed away. That blood is thicker than water. That blood will only have blood. That I will take what is mine with fire and blood. That I have nothing to offer but blood, toil, sweat, and tears. I bled for this. I remember nights I would wake from my nightmares and realize that it was just reality, trying to escape homelessness, starvation, and poverty, as if my desires and belief would somehow erase this atrocity. Barely the age of 3 and already experiencing tragedies. So while so many would run from calamity, I would run towards it rapidly, because pain is what my mind rationalized insanity, and lack thereof felt like pure agony. I bled for this. And no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't Usain Bolt this race. I couldn't transcend my time and space. And no matter how displaced I felt, I had to get up every day, bold face, to face a world that would take one look at my skin and decide my fate. I bled for this. Couldn't tell you where my next meal would come from, but education had to be my lottery. Family turned to foe, kin only left behind their shadows, and all I had were these empty promises of those who said they would help, but left me trying to turn the hope into dough. I bled for this. I remember nights when others would say they were going home, and I didn't even have a bed to call my own. And it was the coldest of nights that the car was my castle and my throne. I bled for this. You will look at me today and have no idea the turmoil and the battles I overcame to stand here today. And I know this is only the beginning, but there were so many before me who saw me and said I wouldn't even make it to the start. Counted me out and said I couldn't do it, said I would fall apart. But see, I went from being government fed to the government paying me bread. Stares deeper than permanent ink. With every step I left a part of me, I guess you could say I'll go down in history. Cause these words can't ever be erased. So with that same blood running down my arm and face, I hold up this degree. Because despite the blood, I refuse defeat. And while I bled for this, Christ already bled for me. So I can stand here today and say that because he made a way, I overcame.
Sakethia is the best-selling published author of Color Me More Royal, a slam poet, and head chef of Mama Key's Kitchen. She is a Renaissance woman whose gifts touch both the heart and soul. Please welcome Sakethia, the Poetic Soldier.
I don't want to fall back unless I know you'll catch me. This fear of falling for you got me searching for a pick-me-up to carry me away to a place where we no longer act afraid but embrace this space that stands between us. Like the 12 spaces between letters I and you. That's 12 steps we must take to refrain from getting addicted as we get closer to commitment. And I'm speaking in reference to our feelings. Programming our trust in healthy detachment, loyalty with matched action, step 1. Let's discuss our past. And not just exes, but upbringing and fears. Let's get so deep we shed tears. See, I wanna hug away your worries. Touch your hurt with my healing hands. Kiss you into comfort, understand your tears are safe here. Step 2. Let's train our eyes to see beyond the surface, so we don't lose focus. Knowing love requires devotion. Can we be reflections of our worth? Value togetherness even at our worst? Step 3. Appreciation is key. We can't ever take for granted the little things. We both need the ability to reciprocate the things we seek. Be what we speak. Step 4. Let's teach our love languages until we both can translate the others. Can we be partners without a power struggle? Let our voices raise awareness and not blood pressure? Can we measure our love based on progression? Step 5. We honor the act of keeping it real. And I mean real, what you really feel. You ask me what's wrong and get this, I reply. Step 6. We put up our safety net. This is where we vow to catch the other before the fall. Here is where friendship evolves. See, we can say I love you, but can we show it? Do we alter our love depending on the moment? When one is wrong, will the other hold it over their head or hold them accountable? How do we add practical value? Step 7. It's time to connect the dots. Discuss values and beliefs. See how we can build as a unit. See where we agree and disagree. And I mean all the way down to the little things. What triggers you? What strengthens you? How do you deal with depression? My love, I hope you see step 7 is asking the hard questions that will test every lesson. Step 8. Before we consider taking steps down the aisle, we have to step on each other's toes. This is where dating with intent goes wrong. Cause it seems we expect perfection from everyone. See, how will we heal in dysfunction? How will we deal in dysfunction? How do we keep the spark when faced in darkness? When you mad, will you let me touch you? If you choose to walk away and not chase, will it keep you from facing obstacles? If I have an attitude and you kiss me, or try to pull me close and I pull away, is that the type of rejection that will cause you pain? What are the different ways that we will handle disagreements? Step 9. How can we respect one another's space and need for personal time? Is trust granted based on consistent action? Is it guaranteed based on a title? Do we have enough self-love to be content in our own personal happiness? Do we love ourselves individually as much as we love us together? Do we have codependent tendencies? If so, how do we counteract them? Step 10. What about your friends and mine? If we had a friend that made the other uncomfortable, would we ignore or adjust? How do we feel safe when we feel threatened in our trust? Step 11. How sacred is our love when put to the test? Would fight or flight take precedence? Have we discussed deal breakers? What's the ultimate no-no where forgiveness isn't even on the table? Do we have the tools to navigate through our feelings? Or does work need to be done before commitment? Step 12. This is where we analyze where our love lies. Are we equipped to have a healthy relationship? Do we have a plan in place, or are we too stuck to stick to our vision? When love isn't enough, how will we have the tools to heal it? After all, love is a daily decision. These are the 12 steps we must take to refrain from getting addicted as we get closer to commitment. Notice sex, it wasn't even mentioned in any of the above steps. Ask yourself, can you handle navigating feelings? Because love is a journey of emotion. So watch your step or be still. Because the heart, it's nothing to play with. Violent. I have anxiety while driving. Lights of justice, lights of liberty, I reflect the land of the free. I am the colors that be red, white, and blue. Feet planted on pavement paved with my ancestors' blood. Don't ignore my shadow in the light. Feel the blues in my soul. Black power fist raised, exposing the inside of the home of the brave. That star-spangled banner decorated to disguise its decadence. I pledged allegiance, but not to die at the police's leisure. Leader, preacher, game of Where's Waldo when seeking public speakers. Lights in my rear view, if only pigments was bulletproof. New world order, crimes recorded versus reported. The law is unlawful. To know your rights is to know you'll be wronged. Who is the all that we pledged for? There's no freedom for just us. Justice just is organized prejudice. Under what God is this nation? I'm not sure we all share the same creator. See, how are we one, but separated? Badges that mask hateful hearts, costumed in uniforms of innocence. In the army of politics on the front line, been black men. Black women defiled. Sandra Bland, Corinne Gaines, Breonna Taylor, we're still saying all their names because I still can't figure out how a traffic stop turned into suicide. Cycle of abuse. Watch as we tell our vision lies. Homicide in our face. Reality's a show, so reality is now fake. We are all a brand. Marketing our souls in videos. Let the cameras roll. Why are these sirens so violent? And this silence so alarming? How is this strange fruit forbidden from living untampered with? Eyes wide open, it's not so Pleasantville when it's a different world in living color. See, you can't judge the truth. Truth is the judge. And the truth is, this nation is guilty of infringements. Amendments to be used as evidence. Rejog your memories. Keep your altered depictions. No Photoshop. Those are real shots. Hands up and the killings don't stop. Simple decisions, life-altering, fleeing, seemingly more promising. In the court of false reports, let the lawyer be the shed blood. The plaintiff can't breathe due to the defendant's weapon and badge of reprieve. Why are these sirens so violent? And this silence is so alarming. Aren't we the people? So we're the jury. So let's recap the facts. Yes, all lives matter. But the point is, how dare you exclude those who are black?
Glenn Douglas is a highly respected Washington, D.C. native pianist and composer. He has played with some of the best smooth jazz artists around, such as Walter Beasley, Earl Klugh, Paula Atherton, and Eric Darius. Glenn amazes audiences with his eclectic styles and energy. Glenn's new single, Wings, is an edgy, dimensional, moving song that resonates with the deepest of human emotions. Here is Glenn Douglas playing his solo release, Wings. Willie Mack is a spoken word artist and professional actor. He originally started performing to escape the woes of life, and now his intention is to bring life through his words and through his performances to inspire the best version of everyone who encounters him to shine to the forefront. Give it up for Willie Mack.
King, there is a king in me. So why don't you see? You seem to be more focused on the superficial qualities that the society has deemed relevant. And with that, you have already put me in a stereotypical box that is unlikely to be opened. Pandora. Incantations I must constantly speak to myself because of the venomous words of your lips. Insecure. I am. Shallow from the bullet holes that you left in me while your tongue continues to bust as if it wants to sift me like wheat. You treat me as if I'm just another number, but I am. To you at least, I'm just my social security number. You disguise yourself in sheep's clothing while you play behind the scenes and you pull the strings. You're the master of deceit. A snake in trimmed grass, I see you disguise yourself in infatuation as if this emotion is really me. And yes, sometimes I do allow it to control me. And I believe you when you tell me that I don't measure up to the standards of being a man, but I won't continue to believe this. I'm through with your societal pressures, your temptations, social acceptance. No, I will no longer let you rebuke this mindset that has been placed in me through Christ Jesus. I am more than a conqueror through him who strengthens me. Now, I know that sometimes I crumble under the pressure, but this plea, Lord, don't reprieve. If you can remit my last offense, you have my word. I'll recommit to purity. I'll practice the wait patiently. Their opinions, it will convince me to serve my flesh no more. I said no more. When I started this poem, I didn't expect to repent. But now I do resent those nights of confusing love for body on body, the top off that led to my pop off. I know, Lord, if serving you was like playing basketball, my fouls would have been flagrant. Yes, I said if serving you was like playing basketball, Lord, I know my fouls would have been flagrant. There is a disease that runs through my skin, and they call that sin. I will admit, but I will try to live my life like David, Lord, and I will repent. I never believed in love until I met you. I can't believe that now I regret you. It was once true, love, or the idea of it. You see, the picture was blurry. I thought we would never have to worry. Those college years showed me otherwise. I don't know why I chose to compromise my morals and my standards. I even adjusted my daily planner, and not many get that honor. I promise. Well, not really, 'cause you broke many lies and betrayal. I still never imagined we would fail. It was the love that was heaven sent. Well, so it felt. Just imagine my surprise when I got that call of you kissing someone else in the midnight hour. I mean, I thought that this was supposed to be our chance at happiness. It's those blissful memories I do miss. Living in a lie, contradictory desires. You wanted to be free and I just wanted it to be a we. Please, don't go. Cause this time I'll fight even harder. I'll tie you to this rope and attach it to my hip. Soul ties. The only deliverance we can have is from the Most High. On my knees, I give my worries to thee. I trust you to take away all of my anxieties.
Sancho Cindaye is an inspirational speaker, Amazon best-selling author, spoken word artist, and workshop facilitator. Readers and listeners alike are mesmerized and challenged and inspired by her unique way of speaking directly into their soul. Get ready for Sancho Cindaye.
Sometimes my mind is like a battle zone. Thoughts like missiles aimed straight at my dome. Bombs dropping old beliefs, or shall I say fallacies, blowing up in my face. Airstrikes of toxic relationships hidden in the mist. Breathing in death every time I'm not true to myself. Yes, my mind is like a battlefield, with camouflage troops hiding behind hills and backup troops ready to take the field, waiting for the command to charge and slay the thoughts that hold me prisoner. Meanwhile, in a hidden enemy camp, black bag over my head, mind, body, and spirit trampled. I hear footsteps and I feel a familiar presence. A hand removes the bag and I look into the eyes of my enemy, only to realize that those eyes belong to me. And I was controlling this torturous war on my mind the entire time. Everything shifted at that very moment. I know my opponent. Therefore, I shall expose, express, and extricate all thoughts and behaviors that threaten my freedom. I'm making peace with my darkness and embracing my light. As I walk, chains are falling, and I am released from all of my self-imposed purgatory. Battle over. I win. As you approached me, I saw the look in your eyes. It said more than your words would ever say. You said you'd like to be blessed by me. Hold up, just what does that mean? You said you'd like to sit down and get to know me better. Get inside my bed, oops, I mean my head. But no matter what you said, the look in your eyes denied the words you spoke. You were talking to me, but your eyes were roaming my body, lingering on every curve, which defied your every word. You lick your lips as if you're hungry, wondering if a Snickers candy bar really can satisfy. Is it really sweet and creamy inside? If it really is bursting with nuts, or if the chocolate and M&Ms really can melt in your mouth and not in your hands. Maybe you want to dive into the caramel filling of a Milky Way. Oh, I see just what you're thinking. You're having a chocolate fantasy. Well, you must have Butterfingers because I can't be your almond joy. No, you can't dip anything in my chocolate. Yes, sometimes I do feel like a nut, but this time I don't. There's a vending machine right outside. Don't mean to hurt your pride, but see, your words drip of molasses. Oh, sticky and sweet, with the potential to give me a cavity. They need to be diluted, watered down with some truth before you ever get a taste of this, baby Ruth. Besides, I don't like Mars bars. I prefer the pure chocolate of a Mr. Goodbye, Sweet Tooth.
Forged in Washington, D.C.'s now legendary U Street poetry scene, Patrick Washington is known throughout the art world as an innovator of spoken word fusion. This poetry slam champion has been heard in every corner of the country, working with everyone from Tavis Smalley to Russell Simmons, along with his right-hand man, Natural Law DP, as half of one of spoken word's most dynamic duos, the PoemCs. Check out Patrick Washington.
Went through a hell of a year, y'all. But things are looking up. And if it all goes right, mountains will eventually turn into powder and my worn-out breath will billow away any question of my devotion. If everything goes right, each soul we lost to COVID will live on in your every smile. I spent the last year chasing after so many lost I love yous. I could have had a necklace of rope burns or trampled someone's right to life, but the story didn't end there. And years later, here come the aftershocks rippling out from this speaker. My voice finally reaches for better things. So if it all goes right, the sun won't become abusive to your great-grandchildren. I pray those apples never get bruised. I'm still hoping for a world where skywriters don't run out of air to tell us the things we've forgotten. Prince steps out of the elevator. And if it all goes right, tomorrow morning we wake up in each other's arms, because if God lives within, while these idle hands are the devil's workshop, then it's only right that they occupy each other, y'all, because to not is like playing Illmatic backwards. So as the days pass, it ain't hard to tell what you represent, because when the truth comes one time for your mind, it'll find you all alone reminiscing over that one love on memory lane, sitting in the park waiting for halftime, not realizing that the world is yours. But since life's a bitch, let's adopt a New York state of mind. Take it back to the Genesis. Cover scars with smiles. Be the bandage that keeps someone else from hemorrhaging these memories. And remember, y'all, it ain't really a broken heart until it stops. If you're still bleeding, you're still living. Those pains are just the clots. And try not to lose your mind when blood rushes to certain parts. And if it all goes right, I would have forgiven every Medusa, whoever's have left me solid, and harassed those night walks like crickets if I could just shut out the echo of her thighs rubbing together. If it all goes right, racism or sexism will only be found in museums. The Bank of America would have lost every cent it stole from me, and brothers would either die or wake up. No in between. Because if it all goes right, I'll be in the audience 30 years from now, feeling 15 from now. She'll be on stage accepting some award, and if I'm lucky, my name will be somewhere in that speech, because if everything goes right, our children will survive what's left until light years from now. They look up to a planet, call it Garvey, start packing for the real black star. I just hope we don't get lost on the way again. This is a letter to my ex, the former me. It is a shout out to St. Jude, a prayer to smirking God, shaking their heads at the belief that if everything goes right, the aloe and the coconut oil will work, the PX90 will work, Steve Harvey's advice will work, the chemotherapy will work. Here, it's the optimism in the face of it all. Because if everything goes right, I will be lovingly remembered by 4 and not just 3 that drop dead petals, break down like drum beats and get remixed into the very next tree. This is not hope that you live forever. Because if everything goes right, you realize your story is supposed to end, but you'll be okay with it. Whenever whatever you call God calls you back, and this earth retreats from your eyes, y'all, if it all goes right. Your last breath will sound like an aria, and your obituary will read like The Alchemist. I don't know if y'all heard or not, but Stevie's leaving us. One of God's most magnetic creations will be leaving for Ghana, taking Stevie Wonder with it. I don't mean the man, I mean the myth. The music, the vocals, the rhythms, the feng shui of how his rhymes sway. It's like, you know what I'm talking about. It's like the best soundtrack to any date ever. I don't care how unattainable you think they are. Stevie puts even the most distant star in reach. Dreams solidify when his fingertips touch the ebony and ivory. This idol sees no rivalry. He's out of sight like Mashadi Amor. And y'all be like, Steve can see. His albums are the grand opening of one's heart. Those fingers can manipulate organs. Hers, his, everybody's. This is true. He created an album so sexy that even plants are making love to his sounds right now. His alchemy can change everything. I mean, ain't that voice sugar? Ain't his songs spice? Yo, listen, true story. I know a girl who shredded a sorry-ass ex via text message. His crooked toes, his bald spot, his lip lies. He responded with 2 tickets to see Stevie. And she's going with her new man, but she doesn't hate her ex anymore. I don't want to bore you with it, but you should get you some of this forgiveness and press play. I don't think you get it. Minnie Riperton, Denise Williams, and Sarita Wright all sang on one song. Do you know what that can do for your tomorrows? I ain't superstitious, but you need to find that girl. Pull her close. Say that you will be her Sir Duke, if only she would be your summer soft golden lady. When he plays I Wish, forget about everyone in the room and pretend that you are on a trampoline somewhere between his notes and the stratosphere. See if they join you. Resist the impulse to reach out and touch during Isn't She Lovely and just smile through all the possibilities like he does. Enjoy all of your senses. Inhale the memory of your first and hold it. Imagine rolling your eyes so far back that you have no choice but to trust the loved ones in the room to take care of you. That is what Don't You Worry About a Thing feels like. If you're anything like me, then you will overflow when either knocks me off my feet or as plays. A swaying skyscraper, an aching volcano, or a whirling humming satellite. Becoming any of these will do. When you can take no more, wait, hold up. When you can take no more, leave your body. Tell the Lord you're just visiting. Ear to the gate, realizing heaven has a Harlem, a Southeast, a 5 Points, a Bourbon Street, and they already play Stevie up there. Partying this far from the sun, and they are all jamming on the one. You need to get as much of this man as you can. Treat yourself, cause you deserve it. One day these songs will echo through your skull, and you won't be there to hear them. One day there will be no wonder.
saxophonist Stephen Bundick, aka Stephen B, hails from the musically rich city of brotherly love, Philadelphia. He comes straight at you with a mission of seizing your ears, filling each musical moment with emotions and colors that can only come from one soul. His saxophone is the tool used to tell a story. His story, his voice, his way. This is Stephen Bundick. As y'all can tell, I'm here at the beautiful Wellspring Manor and Spa here in Upper Marlboro, Maryland. Man, if you have not checked out this beautiful place, you have got to see it for yourself. African American owned and operated, the only bed and breakfast here in Prince George's County. Be sure to check it out. Of course, I'm Tony Richards, and yes, the Lake Arbor Jazz Festival was created by Kevin Alexander. This is my man, great guy, a longtime resident of Prince George's County and also the Lake Arbor community. Celebrating its 10th anniversary back in 2019, the Lake Arbor Jazz Festival, of course, you know, it's become one of the region's premier cultural events. But due to the coronavirus pandemic and, of course, the 2020 and 2021 festivals, they were both canceled. However, the Lake Arbor Jazz team, they are so pleased to bring you a new and exciting series like the Listening Room series, which you just viewed, and also the Lake Arbor Jazz Concert Series in National Harbor. Visit our website for more information at lakearborjazz.com. The Lake Arbor Jazz events, they're all produced by the Prince George's Cultural Arts Foundation, a 501c3 nonprofit organization established to promote and enhance cultural arts right here in Prince George's County.